Hey guys, it's Jade back with another video, and today we are continuing our 50-state cryptid series with the Kelly Little Green Men from Kentucky. Um, this is an interesting story. It has a lot more details from the very first sighting. So I'm kind of excited to share this with you guys. So, I hope you're excited. Make sure you leave a like, because it's good. Like is good. Let's get into the video. Okay, so nearly 70 years ago, a 4-hour encounter between two families and a group of unidentified visitors put Kelly, Kentucky on the map. Um, the area has celebrated the paranormal legacy for years, with the Kelly with the Little Green Men Festival, but the last one was held in 2019 because COVID. Dumb COVID. And Frank Brown, who had been organizing the festival, moved out of the town. Um, However, executive director of Visit Hopkins, Brooke Jung, is planning to bring the festival back, hopefully in the next year or so, because our the pandemic's not like a huge thing anymore, so. However, experts say this incident was a significant moment in the study of UFOs and alien encounters, and has very much changed how we talk and think about outer space, or visitors from outer space. So, on August 21st, 1955, two families, for a total of 11 people, flooded into the Hopkinsville Police Department with a story of complete terror. Their house, they said, had come under attack from beings from another planet. According to police reports, the witnesses said that it started around 7 p.m. This is how the account goes. It was a hot Sunday night on the Sutton farm. The family of Lucky Sutton, which included 50-year-old widow and matriarch Glennie Langford, 4 of her sons, including Lucky, 2 of the sons' wives, a brother-in-law, and the widow's 3 younger children, ages 12, 10, and 7, were gathered in the unpainted 3-room house to visit with family friend Billy Ray Taylor and his wife June. Taylor had worked with Lucky in traveling carnivals and was visiting from Pennsylvania. Around 7 p.m., Taylor went outside to fetch some water from the backyard. While he was out there, reports indicate he saw a silver-colored object that was really bright, with an exhaust of all the colors. Like, it was just colorful, very colorful, all colors of the rainbow. The object, he said, came silently toward the house, passed over it, and then stopped in midair before dropping straight to the ground. When Taylor went back into the house, the Sutton family laughed off his experience, assuming that he was joking or making it up. But newspaper reports indicate about an hour later, the family's dog began barking. Lucky Sutton and Taylor went to the back door to investigate and saw a strange glow in the backyard, in the middle of which was a small human-like creature about 3.5 feet tall, with an oversized head almost perfectly round. The creature had arms that extended almost to the ground, hands with talons on them, and oversized yellow glowing eyes. The body, they said, gave off an eerie shimmer in the light, as if it was made of metal. It was then that the 2 men grabbed their guns, a 20-gauge shotgun and a 22 rifle, and opened fire on one of these little gray men. In response, the little man did a flip, righted himself, and then fled into the darkness. Not long after, the men reported seeing a creature in a side window of the house. They opened fire on it through the window screen, where it once again flipped and disappeared. Mrs. Langford told Isabel Davis, author of Close Encounter at Kelly and Others of 1955, that she also witnessed the creature. She states, I went out into the hallway and crouched down next to Billy when I saw one of them approaching the door, Mrs. Langford said. It looked like a 5-gallon gasoline can with a head on top, with small legs. It was shimmering bright. It was like a shimmering bright metal, similar to what would be on my refrigerator. Mrs. Langford reported that she and the creature stared at each other inches apart and were only separated by the window screen for quite some time. At this point, Taylor reportedly ran out onto the porch to confront this creature. Witnesses inside the house said a claw-like hand reached down from the porch roof and touched Taylor's hair. Those inside grabbed Taylor and pulled him back into the house while Lucky shot at the creature from the overhang on the house, and then at the other creatures as well that he saw in the trees nearby. Each time the creatures evaded the bullets and floated to the ground before running off in the woods. For the next couple of hours, the group stayed inside the house, listening to scratches on the roof, guns ready for any further attack. Eventually, around 11 p.m., the group made a break for their cars and took off for the police station. Once there, the 8 adults and 3 children ran into the station. One thing for certain, police said they were genuinely terrified. These aren't the kind of people who normally run to the police for help, said Police Chief Russell Greenwell. What they do is reach for their guns. Which, I mean, yeah, that was part of the story. Investigators descended upon the farm. Hopkinsville police and state troopers even came to investigate, but no evidence was found that indicated the farm had been visited by aliens. No tracks of the little men were found, nor were any marks indicating anything had invaded or had landed. Investigators did find bullet holes in the screen door and shell casings on the ground. But eventually the investigators left, but apparently the creatures did not. The Suttons reported the men reappearing around 3:30 in the morning. Naturally, the incident was picked up by the news in the area, of course, and then spread like wildfire across the country. Somewhere along the way, the Suttons were misquoted, and little gray men was turned into little green men. So if you thought that I misspoke, I did not. They were gray in the report, but somehow somebody heard them wrong, and they turned into the little green men. It was the first time the phrase was used to describe the extraterrestrials, and it has been a term for referring to them ever since. In fact, news of the Sutton Farm encounter garnered a reaction from Washington, D.C. According to the Associated Press, reports at the time, Senate Republicans in Congress thought the little green men were were likely Democrats searching for candidates, and that the opposing party members were green with envy. At the popularity of President Dwight Eisenhower. Politics, lovely. UFOologists, that can't be a word, say the incident is important for several reasons. First and foremost, the contact between humanoid occupants of a spacecraft and Earthlings. The Kelly humanoids were among the earliest occupant reports associated with UFOs in the U.S., said Thomas Bullard, UFOologist. That does not sound like a word. With the Center for UFO Studies. Most examples prior to 1955 described space brothers here to warn us against nuclear weapons and invite us to join the interplanetary community and had no credibility as factual events. Bro, the 1950s were a time. More credible accounts had come from Europe and South America in 1954, but the only well-known U.S. example was the Flatwoods Monster from West Virginia. Brian Dunning, editor of Skeptitoid, said that the sightings likely were not spacemen. He says, at this point, it seems clear that this was an honest misidentification of a pair of great horned owls who were reacting aggressively to their nest being disturbed. That's okay. When you strip away the decades of enhancement to the story and go back to what the family actually reported at the time, it's virtually a perfect match. The family do seem to have been genuinely terrified and frightened by it. Since the 1950s, however, the sightings have been subject of books, TV shows, and obviously lots of speculation. Sadly, the incident brought scorn and a lot of media hate towards these two families. Some of the reporters and sightseers subjected the family to cruel ridicule, trampling across their property and even barging into their house, despite requests from Mrs. Langford and others from Lucky, and orders from Lucky to go away, Bullard says. These witnesses had to be country bumpkins, okay. And their story was a tall tale, perhaps the result of moonshine, even though Mrs. Langford had a strict rule of no alcohol in her house. Her sterling reputation for honesty among the people who knew her, and who took the event seriously once learned that she was a witness weighed nothing on the scales of judgment for gawkers and curiosity seekers. Eventually, the family left the area and scattered across the country. The only thing left of the encounter is tales that have been passed on from generation to generation. It was a story the community finally embraced in 2010, looking for ways to make money, which is where the idea of the festival came about. Kelly's history came down to two themes: trades and aliens. That sounds like a movie. That was a quote from Joan Smithy, one of the festival organizers, which is what she told the Washington Post. The town, she says, chose aliens. And then for 9 years, the festival drew crowds of alien aficionados, cosplayers, and tourists to the town of about 300 people. Smithy estimated in 2017 during the solar eclipse where Kelly landed in the path of totality, some of about 21,000 people visited the town. That was an interesting one. I enjoyed reading that one. I do not think that it was great horned owls that attacked the Sutton family. I just don't think that would, no. I don't know why they would say that it's shiny. Owls are not shiny. But I don't know, it just seems like 11 people is a lot of witnesses. Yeah, I don't know. But, I mean, I definitely think there's a very good possibility of life on other planets. So, the idea that these little green, gray, whatever you want to call them, these little men, visiting the planet is just not... I don't know, I feel like it's plausible. But, yeah, let me know if you are from Kentucky and have heard of the Kelly Little Green Men. And I would love to know if you have your own stories or your own account of that little encounter. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. And next week, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. This is one of my favorite cryptids. We're going to be visiting Louisiana with the Rougarou. So, I hope you're excited. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. I hope that you enjoyed it. And don't forget to have a good day and take care.